what is success? Just if you have a lot of money and a good job? Like, no, what's successful is being a good person, participating in your communities and being a part of it. To me, I don't think that there's anything more important.
Hey everyone, welcome to one more episode of Pinky J Podcast. Today I have a special guest with me. Her name is Kathy and she's from Canada. I know Kathy for many years. We go way back. We were kids when we met. We actually met through a family friend and we connected. Like Kathy was this crazy, outgoing girl and I was like this shy little girl, and somehow we connected. And knowing Kathy for so long, I think her story can inspire a lot of people. She lost her brother at a very young age and that affected their family a lot. And then she went from a city girl to living on a farm and homeschooling. I never saw Kathy doing that. And it's so crazy how life can change from one moment to another. So, Kathy, tell me about your story.
I was not born yet before my brother passed. So he died about a month before my mom conceived me. But I did spend the entire time in womb, in utero, with a mom who was grieving, someone who literally cried all day, every day. And as a parent now, like I couldn't even fathom what my mom went through. But as we know in studies today, that the importance of being calm when you're pregnant, the way that a mom behaves is very affects the children a lot. So I find that with my brother's loss, although I never met him, it has affected my life tremendously in the sense of I grew up with very overprotective parents. As you can imagine, my mom and dad, they were hawks on me all the time. When I was a teenager, it was the worst thing in the world. But as a parent now, I'm like, well, that makes sense. I understand that. I could see why you would behave that way. I find that only as an adult have I noticed how it's affected me. Growing up, I never really thought much of it. We always talked about him and I always felt like I knew my brother, even though I had never met him. Only as an adult, really, did I notice how it affected my mom and dad. My parents had a lot, and still have a lot of unresolved trauma from that. I couldn't even fathom. My mom found him in bed in a coma. So that's just the most horrific thing that you could even think of. As a parent, I couldn't even imagine something like that. So, and only after I had my son, Grayson, my oldest, I noticed the trauma in my mom and obviously trickled down to me. And as you become a parent, it changes differently. I've always grown up with anxiety and I wouldn't say depression because I've never felt depressed, but I've down arrows came in waves, but the anxiety was always there and lingering. After I had my son, I had really bad postpartum depression. And that was a whole different ball game of anxieties and stress. The amount of rage, that's the one that really got me that I'd never experienced before was rage. I don't know if it's just the baby phase, that first year, because I had it with both my kids, even though it wasn't as severe. Other than that, I find I've been working on myself and some sort of therapies and reading a lot and listening to a lot of books, and that helps. And it's really great because my mom, I've noticed she's trying to resolve her traumas, which is phenomenal because her generation, they don't really pay attention to that stuff or believe in it. She really wants to heal. That helps me heal too. So I don't know, it's a delicate dance because it's my mom and I have a weird friendship and relationship. I was the one who helped her from who needed to survive. When you lose a child and then the next child, it's kind of you don't want that pressure on them, but they are the child that helps you pull you out of that darkness and you have something else to take care of. So we have this weird sometimes it's we have to cut the cord. I know. That's the biggest, I would say, underlying thing there that's always going to be there. And we try to honor him as much as we can. And I talk to him to my kids and stuff. He still very much is a person in our family.
And the grieving process, especially for your mom, must have been tough. And how old was your brother?
He was a month shy of his second birthday. So he died November 2nd and he would have turned to November 5th. So it was a very difficult, I couldn't even fathom it, to be completely honest.
Right.
So
losing a child is never easy. It's hard. And then especially she was pregnant of you.
It affects your nervous system, everything, right? My mom said I was a baby that cried a lot. She's it took months and months and months for you to just chill out. When your environment is crying, and that's literally what my environment was since I was conceived. So no wonder some days I'm just so, But I'm working on it. I mean, I think love helps, and giving myself grace. Like, I'm only human and on this experience and just trying to figure it out. And I think that, well, obviously becoming a parent changes your life, but it changed me to the core. Like, and I rediscovered who I was and who I'd like to be and the kind of role model I want to be for my kid, which then leads us to how we got to farming.
You grew up in a city in Canada.
I was born in Toronto, and then I was raised in the Tri-Cities for majority of my life.
And you went to school, you went to university.
I majored in broadcast journalism, so TV journalism, radio journalism. Never went anywhere with that after school, because in Canada, to even get anywhere, you'd have to either move to Toronto or you had to move to like out west. So I had my husband, or we were dating at the time, but we had toyed with the idea of moving, but it just never panned out. Then we just found other jobs, and then we opened a failed candle business, which was super fun. Well, was in between jobs, and I was just kind of figuring it out. And now, like, we both have found our paths. Kind of took us a while, but
even older people don't even know their paths, and they don't know what they want to do. And it's hard, especially like you have this degree and you didn't go anywhere, but you found what you guys are passionate about, and it's that farm living.
Yeah, like, I would love to say that I'm the best, but I'm not. I'm learning, because I'm still very much like city roots is what I was raised in. Like, I was raised trying to keep up with the trends and doing all of that stuff. And then I became a mom, and I would say it was pre-pandemic. We were already had the intentions of moving out and farming and stuff. But after the pandemic, it really helped push us out. And like, thankfully, my in-laws, they're farmers, and one of the farmhouses that they had, we were able to move into and have some land around us, which we're really grateful for. And it's really, really nice. I can honestly say 16-year-old me would never, ever imagine that I'd be living on a farm.
You said that you were like in a farm. Like, what? I'm like, you're raising chickens and all that. What is going on with you?
And ducks. It was so cold yesterday. Something was wrong with her, but I'm on the phone with Brian, and he's like, well, you're going to have to catch her and put her in the coop, and maybe she just needs to warm up. So if you would have seen me chasing around 2 ducks, it took me 25 minutes to get them in the flipping coop. But once I did, I was so proud of myself. I celebrated, and I was like, yes, I can do it. Even though I was on the phone with him saying, I can't do it. I can't grab him. Like, I was just scared that they'd like poke me in the eye or something. I'm still getting used to it. So
yeah, I need to come to Canada and see this.
Yeah. Well, you want to hear something cute? I have 5 ducklings in my spare room and 4 eggs that are waiting to hatch. So it's been a really cool process. And a few weeks ago, my parents butchered 2 of our chickens. I was like, I have been saying for over a year that I want to butcher a chicken and learn how to do it. Like, I'm on the whole self-sufficiency. Even before the pandemic, I was like, these systems are messed up. Like, things could happen. Like, everything is very fickle. We should be able to be self-sufficient, like have food and grow food for ourselves. And I just wanted to learn how. And then we finally got to do it. And I was like, it gives you perspective of where your food comes from, for sure. Like, plucking a chicken, man.
You're eating the most organic everything.
Yeah, we feed them. They're free range. We feed them organic feed. We try to go follow the guidelines that the farm that I work on follows. Like, we really want to try to like stay close to earth, the natural cycles and everything, because I feel like that's just so important. We should be a bit more appreciative of what nature gives us. And I mean, she's figured out the systems long before we have, and we're just trying to fix them our way, and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Eating like processed foods is just so bad for you.
We grow a bunch of veggies. We actually just finished up our last, I make a lot of pasta sauce. And we just finished the last pack of that we had. And I was so sad. I was like, oh, well, now we know for next year we need to double up so we can have it for the entire winter. So it's all a learning curve. It's very surprising trying to figure out how much you need to feed a family of 4 and for a year and stuff. It's a lot to figure out. And it makes you put into perspective just how much work it actually is to feed yourself, to feed your family. And I feel like it's not talked about enough. Food security is so insane to me and just so important. And it's we need to be putting these systems in effect. And I think that community gardens, all of these things every corner of a suburb should have a community garden. I just think, and then you get a sense of community too. My family always comes and loves to plant and all that. we're starting a new group for our homeschool group. The kids are we're gonna like create a little garden outside so that the kids can create a vegetable garden, and they're all allowed to take whatever they want from there. So it's like, it's a sense of community and something different, right?
It could be therapeutic, like planting, even though every time I plant a plant or have a plant in the house, it dies.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I'm really good at maintaining my outdoor plants, but in the house, like, I have about 3 plants that have survived so far, but like, you look at them and you're like, oh, you poor thing, you are sick. Like, in the house, it's hard, but when it's outside, like, it's easy. I'm still learning. Like, I feel like with homesteading and all this, like, it's constant learning. Like, you're constantly reading, and if something goes wrong, like, you're Googling it to figure out what's going on. And like, it's never, Rome wasn't built in a day. So I don't give myself the pressure. Like, I've been gardening and stuff for about, I would say, 5 years now, because it's been since I had Grayson. Like, once I had Grayson, I fell into like Reddit rabbit holes, and I was like, oh my God, the world is going to end. We need to figure it out and get food ready. We need to be prepared. I'm a lot more relaxed now. As relaxed as I can be. I'm a lot better, but like, it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm always on edge. Like, what's going to happen? Is something going to happen? Like, it's crazy. Like, and I don't like to live like that, but as of lately, it's been hard.
That's the worst way to live, because even though the world, I don't know what's going on with the world right now, we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but it's like, we just have to live day by day. And you decide to homeschool. I never met anyone who homeschooled. Like, I've seen stories out there, but I never met anyone that actually homeschooled their kids. And I give you props, because I don't know how you do it. I have no idea.
I don't know how I do it. So, because like, it can be taxing in the sense of, it's a full-time job having children. And I feel like it's the most underappreciated job because everyone does it. But it's the mental tax and mental load that it takes to be a mom. It's a lot. And there's nothing, like, I am so appreciative for my kids, because I see the world differently now. Like, I see it from their eyes. And I think that with homeschooling, it was an easy decision. I don't know. I never felt right about sending him away from me for so long. And it's not like I'm being but then I feel like sometimes I'm like, am I being overprotective like my parents? But like, then you look at the school systems now, and they're garbage. There's 25 kids to one teacher, and that teacher is lucky if she has assistant. How can you really teach like 25 kids without any of them falling behind? Do you know what I mean? Like, not all kids learn the same. And I feel like, especially nowadays, it's so easy if a child, because they're expected to be sitting at a desk and ask questions and listen. I was never able to learn like that. Like, it was very difficult for me, that setting, and I never really cared for it. And that's before all of like everything else that comes with school life. I feel like they can't get that one-on-one. It's just not as valuable, or at least like, I don't know. I just think that the classrooms are too big, and then it's so disruptive. And then you throw in COVID and all of these new rules, and then you throw in all of the new curriculums for sex ed and everything. And I'm like, I just think that these kids are too young to be learning so many of these things. I don't know. It's just like, the system really bothers me. And I feel like right now we're doing great. Like, he's in nature school. Like, he's not just with me. We're in nature school. We're part of book clubs. Like, we have swimming lessons with our friends. Like, we have a really strong homeschool community, and had I not found them, I honestly don't think I would have been able to do it, because like, there are days where I'm like, I'm insane for keeping these kids home, but then it's like, I want my kids to be different. I want them to be free thinkers. I want them to listen to their body and be like, as Grayson says, he is the king of his body. Like, that's what I want. I want to raise strong, independent kids who aren't like bashed down by a system and created into this mold that every child must be, when like, everybody's different. Everyone's born different. Like, for a long time, I was told that Grayson had a severe speech delay, and he's speaking excellently now. Sure, there's like some things that he bungles up, but he's still only like 5, and he's figuring it out. And we're in speech therapy and like doing all of the things that are necessary. But like, I don't know. I think he's on par with kids his age right now. So I'm not as concerned, but like, I've had so much pushback from family, because we are the first ones in our direct group to go that route. Like, literally no one we know is homeschooling their kids, and that's fine. Like, everyone does what's right for their family, and what I think is right for us is this right now, this path.
You have to do what makes you and your family happy. What you said, that like Grayson is delayed in speech, or I think nowadays people are just so consumed and competitive with their kids.
Yeah.
Like, well, my kid has to be this and my kid has to
Mm-hmm.
be this. Each kid is different. They learn different ways.
Yeah.
Each kid is special. We can't
Mm-hmm.
compare them to a different kid. Parents have to just stop being so consumed in this
Yeah.
society and pressures of what the kids need to be in
It's
smart,
unrealistic
intelligent.
expectations. It's really unrealistic. And it's like, oh, only if they've reached this level, that's what like they're on par. And it's like, but then you just look around and it's like, no, some people were slower and then they're geniuses, or even like just slower and very successful. And at the end of the day, what is success? Just if you have a lot of money and a good job? Like, no, what's successful is being a good person, like participating in your communities and being a part of it. To me, I don't think that there's anything more important. Like, I work part-time and it works for us. Like, we're very privileged to be able to stay home and for me to stay home and everything too. Brent has a very good job and all that. So it helps. If you really want something bad enough, like, you work for it. I work my jobs from home after the kids go to bed or when I find some time during the day. And like, I just really work hard to provide that for my kids. Cause I think that having a present parent, especially in a time like right now, I feel like just everything's uneasy and weird. And we're in a really weird, I want to spend time with my children. Like, I love hanging out with them. Do they drive me nuts some days? Absolutely. Two little boys who have the most energy in the world. But would I change it for the world? I don't think so. Because when I think that when I'm old and dying and looking back at my life, I'm not going to be like, oh, I really wish I had gotten that promotion. No, I'm going to be like, I spent so much valuable time with my kids. Even though it was hard, no one can ever give me that. They're gonna grow up and soon enough, and it's like out the door they go. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to hold on to it. Like,
I can't even imagine when that day comes. Kathy, you're gonna be a mess.
I will be. Like, I'll be like, oh my God, it's just me and Brett now. Like, I always say, it's fine. I have a friend who was homeschooled all her life, and she's a master's in like nursing and stuff. So it's not like just because you were home, school doesn't mean anything different. Like, it's just a different lifestyle, and it's a slower living. And for me, I just think it's valuable. That's all. And then it's like, everyone does what works for them. Some moms can't, for their mental health, can't be home all day with their kids. I get that. But at the end of the day, for me, like, I want to. So it's like, I love spending time with them. So it's fine. So we've known each other almost 20 years. Like, we're not, so yeah. I'm 31. I'm pretty sure we met when I was like 11. So it has been 20 years. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That just ages us so much.
I forget we're 30 already.
Just in the advancement of technology alone, me and you never imagined we'd be able to FaceTime and have conversations like this when we were kids. Like, it was like, okay, well, so nice seeing you. See you next time I come around. And now, like, and then as we were getting older, we can like FaceTime and connect and email and all that stuff. So it's just insane.
Our friendship is one of those, like, we could go months or sometimes I think we went years at one point without talking. Whenever we see each other, it's like we never stop talking.
Yeah, absolutely. I can totally agree with that. And sometimes, like, in that, you need those types of friendships where it's like there's no pressure and like life happens, because it's like you get busy and life is just so, everyone is living their own experience. Sometimes I have to remind myself that. It's like when you feel like you're getting attacked or everything, it's like, no, it's not about you, girl. Everyone is living their own experience. Like, just, it's fine. So it's like, yeah, I totally get that. And I agree 100%. I've been working really, really hard, and I find that I have everything I had wanted in life, but there's still something missing, I felt, for a really long time. And the only thing that was missing was spirit. And I've really been trying to like reconnect with the creator and with my surroundings, with nature, and with like this multi-dimensional world we're living in, and really like try to figure I'll never figure it out, but like figure out what's right for me. And it's been really healing. And like, I feel it in my soul that I'm on the right path, and it's really working out for us. So it's nice.
Right. You're doing what makes you happy and what makes you good for you and your family. And anyone out there listening, if you are contemplating on homeschooling or living on a farm, this is Kathy's story, and it's working for her. So do what makes you happy. But it's a
lot of work. I have to throw that out there. It is a lot of work. You have to be committed, because going on vacation, we're going on vacation this month for the first time in years. And it's like, you got to find someone to watch your animals. Like, it's a whole ordeal. Like, it is a whole lifestyle change. So you have to be committed. But what's the worst that could happen? Well, there's a lot of bad things that could happen, but I think it's beneficial to have like your garden with food and eggs, fresh eggs. You got the whole egg crisis that's going on right now. Like, I can't complain. I have fresh, beautiful eggs with a nice yellow yolk that are just so like, oh, it's delicious.
Can I Order with a bunch of eggs.
No, you can't. I looked into it because we're going to Florida. I was like, maybe we can bring our own eggs. It's totally illegal. And they're catching a lot of people right now with the egg shortage. So, well, you can just come over for a week and I'll feed you as much eggs as you can take.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you so much, Kathy. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure
no
having
problem.
you.